Welcome to Scentonomics. So Byredo is a perfume house based out of Stockholm, and today we'll be talking about Bal D'Afrique, which I think is one of Byredo's better fragrances, or more so one of the more tolerable ones, at least in my opinion. So Bal D'Afrique is classified as a woody oriental. It's supposed to be inspired by Paris in the late 20s when the French were really into like African stuff, like African culture, African art, African music, African dance, basically anything African. It also didn't hurt that they colonized a whole chunk of Central Africa, but that's another discussion for another time. So anyway, it comes in a few sizes. The 50 ml goes for around $150, and the 100 ml goes for $230, and the 250 ml goes for $320. It comes in an EDP, and the nose behind it is Jerome Epinette, who put it out in 2009. So that was a brief and short intro for Bal D'Afrique by Byredo. Now let's move on to the presentation. So the presentation for this is actually pretty nice. The white box is in a nice white sleeve. So there we go. We got the sleeve and we got the nice white box. The box opens and the bottle is securely fit in place. Next to it is a little card in a small envelope. Basically, they went all out for the box presentation. The bottle is nice. You know, it's nice and round with the small round black cap. The cap is tight, but I don't ever suggest holding any bottle from the cap, especially if it's an expensive perfume. All Byredo bottles look the same in terms of their shape. It has a white label on the front and the writing is in black. The presentation of the bottle and box is simple yet classy and elegant. The atomizer works fairly well and has decent distribution. So that's it for the presentation. Now we're going to move on to the scent. So for the scent, the top notes are bergamot, Amalfi lemon, neroli, buchu, African orange flower, and African marigold, blackcurrant, and tagetes. The middle notes are violet, jasmine, and cyclamen. And the base notes are amber, musk, vetiver, and Moroccan cedarwood. So Bal D'Afrique has a fresh citrus orange bergamot opening at the beginning, lightly mixed with something fruity, which I guess is a blackcurrant, while there is this faint smoky smell that is hovering around. The richness of the juicy fruits lasts for around 20 minutes or so on my skin, and then fades a little, and then the vetiver, amber, and musk and cedarwood start to give it a warm feeling. The smoky aspect of the scent also becomes a little more stronger, but not so strong where it gets like cigarette smoke strong, but it's just kind of there. Some people feel that this is a little on the feminine side, and I see where they're coming from. However, I feel that it's a unisex fragrance that can be easily pulled off by men as well. So that was my brief take on the scent. Now let's move on to the rating. So for the rating, as far as distinction and uniqueness goes, I will give this an 8 out of 10. The scent is unique in that not many other scents smell similar to this. There is a cheaper version of this scent with a similar name available online, but it's difficult to acquire, and quite frankly, at just about half the price, I still don't see it being worth it. Pulp by Byredo, which is another fragrance from this house, also resembles this fragrance, as many people would say it does. However, I think this is an unfair assessment, since both of the fragrances serve their own separate purposes and objectives. I mean, why would one house put out the same fragrance twice? It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, for longevity, I give this a 5 out of 10. Sadly, I love the smell of this fragrance, but it just doesn't last that long. On my skin, it only lasts around 3 to 4 hours, which is clearly pathetic. So if you like this fragrance, then be prepared to keep a decant around, because it definitely needs to be reapplied ever so often. For projection and sillage, I give it a 5 out of 10. Let's be honest, it doesn't project either. I know what you're thinking. If the performance sucks, then why the heck spend the money to buy it? But here's the thing. If someone comes within your personal space and they can smell it, and also you can smell it, and you'll get whiffs of it throughout the day, you'll love it, they'll love it, so that's the thing. The question what you really need to ask yourself is, how much do you like the smell of this? And if you like it a lot, and you can find this for a decent price below retail, then maybe you should consider buying it or getting a decant or a sample of it. So for the versatility, I give it a 5 out of 10. This is strictly a warm weather scent that works well only on a hot day. It can be worn casual or dressed up, but I don't see what good it would do dressed up or dressed down if you don't plan on having a system to reapply it. So for seasons, it would not work well in the spring or fall unless it's a really warm day or something of that sort. And the winter, you could just throw that out. So basically, it just restricts it to the summer. So we can easily conclude that it's not really that versatile. For presentation, I give it a 9 out of 10. I like the presentation. You know, the sleeve is pretty cool, and the box, you know, is really nice right here and all, and, you know, it's got this nice thing going for itself. So like I said, the sleeve, the box, and the bottle also, everything is really nice. It keeps the bottle safe and secure. It screams high-end. Sadly, we don't wear the box, nor we wear the juice. So since that's the case, I wish the juice was also scream high-end as well, but it doesn't. For compliment factor, I give it a 6 out of 10. People will like or even love the smell, but there's a tiny problem, and that is that can only happen if they could smell it. Since the performance is poor, how can anyone compliment you? So unless you have it, you know, unless you like bathe in lotion and then you bathe in the bottle, you know, then you could garner compliments. But if you're just a normal person spraying on a few sprays here and there of the cologne itself, I mean, if no one can smell you, you're not going to get any real compliments. So for the Scentonomic factor, where you take into consideration the price, the value, the performance, the quality, all those things together, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. That's perhaps one of the lowest scores I've given for the Scentonomic factor for any fragrance on this channel. I can't suggest getting a bottle of this. I just can't. It's definitely not bottle worthy. You know, I can suggest getting a decant, which is what I did, right? I had initially gotten like a 10 ml decant a long time ago. I liked the decant, and since it was only 10 ml, I didn't really use it too generously, and so I never really got to live through the life of the fragrance. So again, I knew this was an expensive juice, so I would only use like a couple of sprays from the decant that I had without paying much attention to the performance because I was so captivated by the awesome smell. So when I came upon a good price bottle at the duty-free shop at the airport, I went for it, only to realize that I made like a terrible blunder. When we consider the price, performance, and quality, I cannot give it a high rating on the Scentonomic factor. So for an overall score, I will give Bal D'Afrique by Byredo a 6 out of 10. The fragrance smells nice, and I love the smell throughout the life of the fragrance. Sadly, that life is not very long. It's very short-lived, which is why I can't justify spending so much money on this. So again, it's sad, but that's just what it is. So that's my review of Bal D'Afrique by Byredo. Please feel free to check out other content on our channel and other first impressions and other reviews. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Also, if you can, please comment down below and let me know your thoughts on Bal D'Afrique and basically on any other Byredo fragrance, and what do you think is the best Byredo fragrance out there. This happens to be the only one that I own so far. So again, thank you for watching the video and supporting my channel. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. This is Nabil signing off from Scentonomics, where every scent counts.